Hello, y'all. So today we talked about translations, slide, and we talked about reflections, flip. And we can flip over our y-axis and we can flip down on our x-axis. So I'm going to do a quick review of that. I'm going to flip the camera over, and here we are. So the first thing that we are going to do is graph the image. Notice I've already done this. We call this image the pre-image because it is the image before it is moved, the image before it has been transformed. So the first thing that we are going to do is translate this image. So I want us to use the rule. Let's use the rule. The rule is my x value. How is it going to be changed? So which one of these is the left and right one? We're lucky it's the first one. So it says 9 units to the left. When I move to the left, this way, my numbers are negative. So I'm going to subtract 9 from every x value. My y value says we're going to translate the image 4 units up. If we go up, that is positive. So to all my y values, I'm going to add 4. So let's now write all of our new ordered pairs. We call these primes. So p prime would be 2 minus 9, which would be negative 7. And then my y value, negative 3 plus 4 would be 1. My q value, 1 minus 9 is negative 8. Negative 1 plus 4 would be 3. Q prime, R prime. My x value is 5. 5 minus 9 is negative 4. My y value, negative 1, and negative 1 plus 3, or negative 1 plus 4 is 3. And then s prime, whoops, is 5 minus 9, which is negative 4, and negative 3 plus 4, which is 1. Okay, so now all I have to do is graph these points. Easy peasy. I used my rule by looking how I was going to translate it. Left means subtract, up means add, and these are all my new coordinates, my new ordered pairs. So let's go ahead and graph them and see what we get. Negative 7, 1. I'm going to label it P prime. Negative 8, 3. That would be Q prime. Negative 4, 3. R prime. Negative 4, 1. Negative 4, 1 would be S prime. Okay, so here's my new shape. This is what we call the image. That's all we did. We used our rule and then we graphed our new ordered pairs. You could also have just drawn the process, okay? So I'm going to show you that real quick. Either way does the same thing. So here it says 4 units up. So I'm going to take every single point and move it up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a Q point, and it's in the process, so I haven't finished it yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be a P point. R, 1, 2, 3, 4. And S, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to connect them. Okay, so I have translated it up 4 units, check. Now I have to translate it 9 units to the left. Okay, so I'm going to take every single point and move it to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and look where we are at. Okay, this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So had this image not been here, we would have put these orangey points right there, and that would be our image. And notice, no matter which way you do it, you will get the same answer. It's the exact same thing. If you use the rule or if you decide to draw it, do whichever one is easiest to you. Okay? So that is how we translate. Remember, translate just means slide. So we slid our pre-image up and then to the left. You can use our formula or you can draw it. So this is a translate. Now, let's talk about a reflection, okay? So I'm going to take this paper, put it to the side, and let's do the same shape. So I'm at 2, -3, and that's point P. I'm at 1, -1, that's Q. 5, -1 is R, and 5, -3 is S. Okay, again, this is the pre-image, the image before it has moved. So now I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. This right here is my x-axis, the one that runs horizontally. So I'm going to take it and flip it. I'm going to take it and flip it up. So our rule for this, our rule for flipping over the x-axis is that our x values stay the same. They stay the same. Our y values are the opposite. So if it was positive, it would be negative. There's a negative sign right there. And if our original y value was negative, then it would be positive. Or if our original value is positive, it would be negative. So it's the opposite. So let's look at these ordered pairs and let's use our rule. So for P prime, our x value stays the same because we're flipping over the x-axis. It stays the same. And my y value changes to its opposite. The opposite of -3 is +3. So Q prime, my x value stays the same. My y value is its opposite. So it was negative, now it's positive. My x value stays the same. My y value changes, so now it's positive. For S prime, my x value stays the same and my y value changes. Now it's positive. So now let's take those points and let's graph them. So we have 2, 3, so 2, 3, and that is P prime. Then we have Q, which is at 1, 1, Q prime. Then we have R prime, which is at 5, 1, and S prime, which is at 5, 3. And here you can see the image has flipped over the x-axis. Okay, so now let's look at this pre-image and let's flip it over the y-axis. Let's flip it over the y-axis. When we do this, the height of the image does not change. Therefore, the y value stays the same. But notice when you flip it, the x values will now be negative, so they are opposite. Therefore, our rule is the opposite for x and y stays the same. Opposite for x, y stays the same. So looking at our original points, our pre-image, let's see what we got. So P prime for reflecting over the y-axis, P prime. My x is the opposite, so -2. My y stays the same. My x is the opposite, so -1. My y stays the same, so -1. For R prime, my x is the opposite, so -5. My y stays the same, -1. For S prime, my x is the opposite, -5. My y is the same, -3. So let's go ahead and graph these points and see what we got. -2, 3 is p prime. -1, 1 is q prime. -5, 1 is r prime. And -5, 3 is s prime. And when I connect these dots, you can see that it's the same shape. The size did not change. It just reflected over the y-axis. So again, let's review all of those things. For translations, if you are going to the left, you subtract the number from your x value. If you're going to the right, you add the number to your x value. For your y value, if you're going up, you add the value to your y value. If you're going down, you subtract the value from your y value. And then you apply this rule to every single point. To reflect over the x-axis, your x value stays the same, your y value is the opposite. To reflect over the y-axis, your x value is the opposite and your y value stays the same. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that this helps. If you have any questions, let me know.